huge success and its positive results, both for the firm and for the employees. It is as follows. Workers are organized in squads, which are small multifunctional teams of around 6 to 12 people normally that work with absolute autonomy. Each squad member plays a part in the final product and has total freedom to choose how to do their job. Each squad member belongs to a chapter, which we could relate to a department. Then a tribe is formed by multiple squads that work on the same or similar areas. And one of the most curious features of this model is the existence of guilds. Guilds are communities of workers that share the same interests and meet frequently to interchange knowledge about a specific topic. Each employee can join the number of guilds they want, independently of their area of work. And given this, the next step is creating a flexible and dynamic workflow to make the most of this model. And that's what they do. They build simple initial rules just to immediately break them as they progress through their work, adapting these rules to suit their recent needs. This allows them to fail quickly, but then learn quickly, and eventually improving quickly. Essentially, this work methodology is focused on what the employee can contribute with, and integrates perfectly the 4 key values my colleagues are going to talk about.
Thank you. So now, as Fernando said, I will be talking about the 4 key values very quickly. The first one being the autonomy. Autonomy is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, of Spotify's 4 key values. Thus, it can be divided into 3 areas: the workers' autonomy, the service autonomy, and the customer's autonomy. As Fernando mentioned, the workers are organized in the AGILE methodology, which I'm not going to get into because he mentioned it already. As for the service, Spotify has 24/7 running servers with the added security of being hosted by Google. Lastly, the customer's autonomy. Customers are able to use Spotify in 79 countries in 5 continents. Now, onto the speed. Again, we keep coming back to the Agile model, which allows Spotify to fix problems very quickly. Secondly, customers are able to create customer accounts in under a minute. And for content creators with artist accounts, uploading, promoting, and controlling music is now easier than ever. This all leads to a very successful customer service experience. Thirdly, openness, the smallest one of them all. It can be divided into internal and external. For the internal, there is a very frequent and close information exchanges, again related to the Agile model by Fernando. But on the external side, Spotify has a very notorious secretive way of not sharing any information about any upcoming releases. Lastly, to talk about the impact, Spotify has made a continuous delivery of quality and comfort to the customers. It has transformed the manner in which the masses listen to music, and this all leads to a grand revolution in the music industry. Now to talk about digital culture is Óscar.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about digital culture, and with digital culture, what we mean is how the music world has been revolutionized due to digitalization, and Spotify has taken a big role on this part. First, nowadays creators are more interested in being the top listened song of Spotify than being the top record seller. Why? Because digitalization has created a new opportunity for listening to music. And now customers prefer to have their music anywhere they go and not having to carry a CD. Also, creators nowadays can gain more recognition on Spotify and online music platforms than anywhere else. So they had to adapt to this change. One of the reasons why Spotify has had such importance on this chain is because they were the first one to create a successful music streaming platform. Now, Adrián, we'll have you.
Thank you, Óscar. So we have been speaking about how does Spotify behave, let's say, in that way, in the digital business world, which is very, very exciting. But how does Spotify behave in the economic market? So I want to pose a question to you guys. We want you to participate. What would you say is like the main characteristic that makes Spotify different from the other services? Anyone, please?
You got access to it and so on.
Okay, great. So that's really, really great path to follow. One of the main characteristics of Spotify is its music collection. Obviously, all these competitors that you can see in the screen pose a great threat to Spotify's business, but the music collection is what really differs them from the competitors. One of the main competitors is, for example, Apple Music, as you can see here, which basically differs from them the implementation with the Apple ecosystem. As we all know, and we have studied in many other subjects, the ecosystem is pretty well integrated, but basically any other competitor cannot offer as much as songs available on the platform as Spotify. Yeah, I'm gonna be brief in this point because we are a little bit out of time, so please, Kate.
Thank you. That's right. So let's discuss how Spotify analyzes our data. First of all, Spotify always knows what we want. And if we think about how we can boil down the system of Spotify data analysis to two concepts: to exploit and to explore. To exploit the info that we, the users, create, and to explore the info that we don't create. And to explore the info we don't create, they use three main algorithms. The first one is collaborative filtering. It's more about analyzing our behavior and behavior of the others. For instance, we have two users, A and B, and both of them know three songs, P, Q, and R. So A will most likely like T song, even though it doesn't know it, but B does, because they're considered to be similar users. So collaborative filtering does a pretty good job, but it's not enough. So that's why we need NLP. NLP understands the human speech as it's spoken. What it does is to crawl all the posts in the web, about 10 million per day, related to the music, to understand the digital trends now, and to make better recommendations for us users. But still, it's not enough. For instance, here we can see the AVA score of top terms that are identified according to the words normally used in their songs. You wonder why we need the third model, even though these two do a fantastic job. Mainly because of the new songs that appear. Because if the song is new, it has a cold start. Collaborative filtering won't identify it because no one listens to it, and NLP won't pick it up in the web because no one knows about it. So what do? We implement the third model called raw audio. Raw audio does the explicit analysis of the music itself and to identify factors such as loudness and beat, for instance. This way, things such as Discover Weekly and automatic playlist continuation works perfectly because they offer you the songs that you know. They offer you the songs that sound like yours, literally, because the loudness, for instance, is similar. And also, they offer you some new recent songs that appear because of the NLP model. And now we'll talk about the future.
Well, I wanted to talk a little about Spotify's future, but there is a lack of information because Spotify doesn't share much official information, as Andrés has said. So I'm just going to tell you the recent changes that Spotify has made, and they can give us a lead of how they are going to perform in the future. First of all, they have included a new podcast platform in their apps. And we think that they are going to give it more importance from now on. And as it is a fast-growing market, I think it's a good opportunity for them to increase their share in the market. Also, well, in this innovation, they include categories and trailers for their podcasts. Also, not long ago, they introduced video loops and GIFs in some of their tracks that are short videos of less than 8 seconds that repeat for the whole song. We think that with this innovation, in the future, they can include video clips also in their platform. And as Adrián has said, they are now the leaders in the market. So they have to keep updated if they want to continue this way. And we think they can do it thanks to their AGILE model that Fernando has explained. Now,
Thank you again, Óscar. So this will seem like the most boring part of the presentation, but I promise you it won't be. So for our research process, when it comes to the Spotify matrix that we have to elaborate, we really wanted to collaborate with each other, and always we used Google Drive to always keeping us updated on the new changes and comment on people's work and stuff. Then the analysis. So as you may have noticed in our presentation, our research was, I would say, very difficult because Spotify doesn't provide us with many information about the company's way of operating. So, for example, for Kate's part, she really did an amazing job on analyzing with the knowledge we have acquired in this degree the situation of the company and how it will operate, and also finding information about all these methods and algorithms that are great. Then, as I previously mentioned, we used Google Drive, collaborative research, always keeping us updated. And then the peer-to-peer evaluation also comments on Google Drive, and also Herman in his sessions we could spoke, which was really great to have this space to speak with each other. Then Canva. So this presentation you see on the screen was designed by the great tool Canva. I totally recommend you to use it. It's a cloud-based tool. Many of you already know it. And it's great. It provides a great graphics, great everything. And yeah, so this part I will say is one of the main important in the research process, because we took a look at the Spotify developer side, because for this presentation we really wanted to be coherent with the aesthetic of Spotify's branding. So we took a look at the EXA codes for the colors of the presentation, how do the fonts in the Spotify app work, and we tried to duplicate it to be coherent with the aesthetic, because we thought it was really, really important. So to end, this is our great theme. Really proud to work with you guys. Thank you very much. And yeah, thank you for staying here that long. And really hope you enjoyed our presentation. And thank you for the music.